part 2 of my very intriguing interview with Reneto Adams. I'm Archibald Gordon, and this is Profile. Reneto Adams is back with us on Profile. When we ended the last program with a controversial no-nonsense cop, we were talking about the early days of policing in St. Catherine, and then you would move on to St. Anne, and later on to some of those more controversial postings which we'll talk about. But a lot of people might not know that for a while you were a traffic cop?
Yes, I was a traffic cop. In those days, they call you the courtesy cop. You can imagine Reneto Adams being before a courtesy cop, having turned into a revolutionary as it relates to my action upon criminal elements. So yes, but before I went to St. Anne, I went to traffic, where I was trained in traffic engineering and to do traffic duties, for which I did for 18 years. And I remember when a particular election came up, in those days we had the joys and so on, and you had the robots.
That's
I was one of
Jamaica Omnibus Service.
Jamaica
That's
Omnibus.
the precursor of the JUTC.
Yes, that's right. And we had to seize the robots, and I was put in charge. And let me tell you, ever since I became a cop, I have been put in charge from my constable. I remember where I was stationed in Bagwalk, and the sub-officer went on leave, and I was placed in charge. But the story that led me to St. Anne was a particular government came in, and at that time they thought that I was, harassing the robot people and so on. And I remember having prosecuted people from both sides, but a particular side took it to another level, that they thought they should have victimized me. And I was called one day and taken off the traffic management team because I was asked for some chances for certain particular people. And I told them that I didn't know how to give a chance. People were already arrested or charged or prosecuted or given summons. The only person or the only authority that can give you a chance is if you go to court and you ask the judge or so on for leniency. Then that's their prerogative. And because of that, I remember being spoken to that way on the Wednesday, and I refused. And the force order, which is a circulation of orders that comes out, every Friday. And I saw where I was reverted off traffic and transferred to St. Anne. No, the type of person I was, I contemplated my actions and my options. And the option that was forceful in my mind was to just take it up. I didn't ask them why. I didn't protest. No protestation from me. Went on and took up my duty. Mm-hmm. And when I went to St. Anne and reported to the superintendent, and Mr. Brown, he has long gone, soul rest in peace, told me that he saw a document where I was sent there and I must be on probation for 6 months, and watch and reports must be written on me. And I asked him for what? I refuse instructions. Only that, refuse instructions, connoting as if the instructions were proper instructions coming from the force and its authority.
If you were this defiant person then, how did you end up with assignments which would end up being much bigger, such as a special anti-crime task force and the crime management unit?
Yes, because they all knew, and I think they still know, And I was one of these persons in the Jamaica Constabulary Force that was never afraid of, from the Prime Minister down to the criminals on the street. I wasn't afraid.
You'd have been encountering a lot of criminals when you talk about the Special Anti-Crime Task Force.
That's it. And therefore, every instruction that they gave me, I had results. Whether I pursue the activity, the way they directed me, or in my way. Most time I did the activities applying my own plan and my own philosophy on it, my own psychology on it, and I was always successful.
Would, however, at the same time have brought you into a lot of challenging circumstances. So let's talk a little bit about some of them. First of all, about the Brayton 7.
Yes.
Because that was one of the big challenges that you faced as a police officer. This is the killing of 7 young men at a house in Brayton in St. Catherine.
Yes.
And you encountered a lot of criticism over that, including from the police commissioner at the time.
Yes, and the government too.
Yes.
I remember, you know, I was called to the commissioner's office at 3 p.m. a particular day in question. Because it never only started in Brayton. As a matter of fact, it didn't start in Brayton. It started at the Above Rocks police station, where criminal elements went there, shot and killed the policeman after they went and asked him for water. And a lady was also shot across the road. And the commissioner gave me certain instructions and certain intelligence, which I followed. The same day, well, it happened, I think it was, I don't remember if it was the night or, but however, my men and I started working on the intelligence the very moment we got it, which led us to Cassava Peace. And when we went to Cassava Peace, we found one of the suspects. Further investigation brought us to Cumberland. We picked up another suspect.
That's Cumberland in Portmore, St. Catherine.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And when we went to Cumberland, we saw an uncle of one of the suspects who gave me certain intelligence upon which we worked on, and that brought us to Sealway in Brayton. And you know, the rest is history. We went there, pronounced my presence, identified ourselves, and asked the people to come out. I told them we had a warrant to be executed on them and so on. We heard a lull for about 5 minutes. Nobody answered. But we knew they were there because the intelligence and other persons who led us there, we were sure.
This would end in a sort of massive shootout.
Yes.
That would make headlines across the country and also international in a sense. And I want to talk to you a little bit as we go to the break, when we come back from the break, about how you dealt with that kind of criticism and also some of the more controversial and other controversial issues. But we're going to take the break right now and continue our interview with Reneto Adams right after. You are watching Profile. I'm Archibald Gordon. Stick around.